The Evaluator Prioritization Decision Support submodule is the intelligent decision support center of this application and displays all of the key prioritization and optimization results and conclusions for the prioritized key performance metrics for the project. Acuitas Decision Support best practice is for you to first review this Evaluator Prioritization Decision Support screen to get a solid perspective of the strengths and weaknesses of the project and the degree to which the project is achieving your target objectives. This demo will present examples of each of the following key features and capabilities of the module. This first demo will demonstrate automated and prioritized decision support. This is the Evaluator Navigation Cockpit, from which you can reach all modules of the solution. And clicking here on the Prioritization Navigation button takes us immediately to the Prioritization Decision Support module. The Evaluator Prioritization Decision Support module automatically generates its optimized results with a single click of the navigation button. In this example, we have chosen, through these pull-down menus highlighted in green, to make the following optimization choices. In terms of the time frame, we're going to select the average of years 1 to 4 in the project. In terms of the context, and it's named the prioritization method, we're going to decide to prioritize each key performance indicator without reference to their rank or priority. So we're going to choose without rank, and as a result the system is going to ignore in the prioritization the ranking that appears in this column on the extreme left. And finally, in selecting the metric, we're going to select this versus percent target. And as a result, we're going to focus on the percent difference between the projected results and the target for all metrics. And this prioritization is shown in the column on the extreme right, this versus percent target. Now simply clicking on the Prioritize Navigation button generates the desired optimized results and shows, in descending order, those metrics that have most exceeded their targets, as measured by the percent by which the projected results exceed the target set in the Evaluator Modeling Decision Support submodule. And we can see, starting with the highest positive number, the system has prioritized all of the key performance indicators through to the ones with the most negative performance relative to target. We also see that in this example, the key performance indicator that most exceeded the target, as measured by the percent over target, was the current liabilities as a percent of total financing, and exceeded the target by over 3,000%. But further, we also see, when we do look at the ranking and we look at the number 1 ranking, that the key performance indicator that did the best with the highest priority is return on shareholders' equity. And it was able to generate a return 118.4% in excess of target. And clicking on this Restore button allows us to restore the Prioritization Decision Support table to its original status, and allows us to now set another set of choices around these green pull-down menus and generate another optimization until we're basically satisfied that we've gone through the set of optimizations that are necessary for us to determine precisely what the valuation of the project is as best as we can. This concludes the demo of the Evaluation Prioritization Automated and Prioritized Decision Support. This second video will demonstrate user-controlled prioritization and sorting. This is the Evaluator Prioritization Decision Support main screen. The left-hand column, named Rank, as we have seen, displays the user-controlled choices that will define to the system the prioritization of each of the Evaluator key performance indicators. Each of the key performance indicators can be defined as having a priority of from 1, which is the highest priority, to as high as 100, which is the lowest priority. To inform the system that for any optimization run, you want to invoke this prioritized ranking in the sorting, you just use the pull-down menu that's identified as second, select Prioritization Method, and we choose by metric within rank. In this example, we're again going to choose the variable versus percent target. To focus again on the percent difference between projected results and the target for all metrics, and again, the column on the extreme right, versus percent target, will be the one where the optimization and prioritization results are displayed. Now again, all we have to do is simply click on the Prioritize Navigation button, and this generates the optimized results automatically. What we see in this particular case is that the system first sorts all of the key performance indicators by the priority that you have assigned. So we can see that all of the number 1 priority have been aggregated together, all of the number 2 priority have been aggregated together, the number 3, the number 4, and so on. And within the number 1 priority, what we can see is the system has now prioritized them in descending order of the value of the metric that we selected, the versus percent target, as the key for this optimization. Also note that the system has color-coded all of the highest priority key performance indicators in this rank column, defined as number 1, in bright green. And we can also see that it has aggregated all of the number 2 in light green. This enables you to even more quickly focus upon the performance of the project in those key performance indicators that you have defined as the most important. In this example, the evaluator is indicating that the project's best performance was the return on shareholders' equity, as it is generating a return of 118.4% above target. And this is closely followed by the return on invested capital, which is generating a return of 115.2% above target. This means that for this set of assumptions, the project is far exceeding the target set for the most important key performance indicators, and that there is a significant amount of flexibility for the projected results to fall short of the assumptions and the project to still be highly successful. Again, clicking on the Restore Navigation button is going to restore the prioritization decision support table to its original state, ready again for another optimization as desired. This concludes the demo of the evaluator prioritization user-controlled optimization. This third video will demonstrate how the system takes advantage of embedded projected versus target optimization. This is the evaluator prioritization decision support main screen. The evaluator provides you with the power to optimize key performance variables against targets that you can easily set to define project success and to compare and prioritize projected results versus these user-defined targets. And these targets can be set in 2 ways. First, by time period, and second, by individual key performance indicator or metric. In the evaluator prioritization decision support screen, we see the column here titled Target, and it contains the target values that have been set. For this example, in the evaluator modeling decision support submodule for each key performance indicator. For example, this indicates that if we choose the time period 3 and we choose the metric versus target, that a target has been set for return on shareholders' equity of 26.5%. And please note that in the discussion of the evaluator modeling decision support submodule, it will be demonstrated that you need only establish a handful of these targets for the independent decision support key performance indicators and variables. The model will then automatically calculate all the rest and ensure total internal target setting consistency across all key performance indicators. In this case, the target for the return on shareholders' equity is a calculated target. The model automatically determines, based on the time period you select, the correct data to extract for the projected results, and also transfers the appropriate target data from the evaluator modeling decision support submodule to the evaluator prioritization decision support screen and puts the data here in the target column. For this example, the metric selected is versus target, and therefore the optimization is going to show in this column the second one from the extreme right. And simply clicking again on the Prioritize Navigation button generates the optimized results, and what we can see now is that return on shareholders' equity is now the 6th ranked key performance variable in terms of performance versus target, and that it is performing at 55.6% above target. Again, we restore the screen. And this concludes the demo of the evaluator prioritization embedded projected versus target optimization. The fourth video demonstrates the use of color coding and data charts within the prioritization tables. This is the evaluator prioritization decision support main screen. The evaluator makes extensive use of color coding to make it even easier for you to quickly interpret and get on top of the implications of each optimization run. The analysis for the versus target column and for the versus percent target column have been color coded in the following method that can be easily modified to suit your preferences. First, in cases where the values are less than 0 in red background and red font, it means that the projected value for the key performance indicator has fallen short of the target. Second, if the values are greater than 0 in green background with green font, means that the projected value has exceeded the target. And finally, in a situation that we see here where the values are equal to 0 in yellow background and yellow font, means that the projected value has just met the target. The system also displays a graphical representation of the number within each cell of these two columns. The largest positive green value is shown to extend across the full width of the column cell, and all other positive values are automatically scaled back to be proportionate to this maximum positive value. This same approach is also taken for negative values in red. This serves to further help improve your rapid identification of the relative significance of the projected values versus the target by adding a visual scaled graphical view right in the same cell as the displayed value. This concludes the demo of the evaluator prioritization, color coding, and data charts within prioritization tables. This fifth video demonstrates the multiple optimization choices provided by the system. This is the evaluator prioritization decision support main screen. The evaluator enables you to assess all of the key performance metrics, performance versus targets, in a single summary optimization table, which is the table that we have been using for the video so far, or a set of individual optimization tables, each of which contains only those metrics that relate to a specific financial statement. So for example, all of the metrics specific to the income statement only can be optimized within its own separate table. You can see that there are a set of navigation buttons here that allow you to go to a table to optimize only those metrics specific to a given financial statement prioritization. For example, if you are particularly interested in how the key performance metrics from the income statement compare to each other, you simply click on the income statement navigation button and you are immediately working with a customized table that contains only those metrics identified in the statement column here as applying uniquely to the income statement. But we can see here that this is the income statement unique optimization decision support table, in that all of the metrics apply to the income statement only. For each of these sets of prioritization tables, you also have a choice, as we have seen before, of 3 perspectives that define the structure of the optimization you want to carry out, again using pull-down menus to make your choices simple. The first choice is the time period. And you can choose any year or range of years to automatically populate the optimization table. And it populates them for the projected results, for the target data, for the comparison versus target, and for the percent versus target tables. The check-in choice is to define the approach you want to take, and we use this select prioritization method, and you have two choices. You can first prioritize results in descending order of the ranking, the column here, in the left-hand column, and then it would sort within this ranking value, in which case you would choose the by metric within rank choice. The other alternative you have is to generate the optimization without taking ranking into account, in which case, in this particular column, again, you would make the choice of by metric without rank, and we have seen examples of both of these in previous videos. The third and final choice is to select the key decision support metric that you want the system to use to actually carry out the prioritization, and this is where we have to select that metric. The choice here defines the column in the prioritization table that you want the system to use as the primary or secondary sort column, and this distinction between primary and secondary is automatically determined by the system depending upon which choice you've already made in this particular column about the ranking. As you can see, there are a total of 5 choices from the pull-down menu, and they correspond to the columns of the rank, the projected or actual results, the target data, the versus target analysis, and the versus percent target. And this is the difference between the projected and the target data calculated as a percentage of the target data. And we have used both the versus target column and the versus percent target column in previous videos. This set of options provides you with a total of over 70 different combinations to enable you to assess the projected performance against the target data in as wide a range of perspectives as possible. The flexibility and breadth of optimizations ensures that you have the ability to examine all feasible scenarios of comparing and prioritizing the projected performance of the project versus the targets you have defined. This concludes the demo of the Evaluator Prioritization multiple optimization options. The 6th video demonstrates the over 80 KPI metric choices that are available to you. This is the Evaluator Prioritization Decision Support main screen. The evaluator comes with over 80 key performance metrics, applying to the full set of financial statements and the overall project valuation. The names of each of these metrics is found in the metric column, and a definition or explanation of each can be found by simply putting your cursor on the cell with the name of the metric in which you are interested. The example we're going to display here is for the equity valuation. The system automatically generates context-sensitive help. No need to look anything up in a user's manual or leave the screen to become comfortable that you understand exactly what each metric really means. The definitions used in each metric come from Bloomberg, and this ensures consistency and comparability across all Acuitas Evaluator projects. This concludes the demo of the Acuitas Evaluator Prioritization Decision Support submodule.